Please welcome a player who was magnificent last night in one of the all-time great Crucible semi-finals. Once again, proving he has the talent and the nerve for the biggest stage of all. It's his second appearance in a Crucible final, and since '07, he's won 6 major titles, proving himself to be one of the world's very best. A brilliant ambassador for snooker. What a moment this is for him and all his family. Here comes the jester from Leicester. Here comes Mark Selby. And his opponent, the most exciting player ever to grace the modern game. 21 years since his Crucible debut, he's here contesting his 6th World Championship final. Winner of 3 major titles this season alone. Here he is, ready to entertain once again in his own inimitable style. Please welcome the defending world champion. Blink and you'll miss him, the Rocket, Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Absolutely, Hazel, and there's nothing like a World Championship final, and what a matchup we've got. Pictures taken with the trophy, and that is what these next 2 days is all about.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. The first frame, Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
So it's Ronnie O'Sullivan who is going to get this final underway.
Yeah, John, since I retired, many people ask if I missed the game. I missed this.
Put the cameras away now, please.
This is when you want to be playing snooker. This is the ultimate.
Good handshake between the two. So we'll have a look at the tournament stats. 90% pot success for Mark Selby, 93% for Ronnie. That's very good. All pot success once again favouring Ronnie. That's a good percentage, that 72%. 63 is about right for me. And the safety. Well, there Mark Selby just has the edge, but I think even that is a little bit low. I think you want to be up 85, 90% safety. And the high break, nothing much to choose between, and of course the high break only wins you 1 frame. Big day of course for the referee Brendan Moore, Sheffield born and bred, first World Championship final. And his father Derek, wife Sharon, and Caitlin and Sophie here to witness, and I bet they're very proud. He'll have to keep his wits about him. He needs just as much concentration as the players. That's about all that Mark could do with that shot. Couldn't play safe and possibly leave that red. I don't know whether it'll tempt Ronnie. There is a possibility this red in the open to go into the right middle, but early days you usually find it a little bit cagey at the start. little bit thin on that, a little bit pacey. But maybe nothing to tempt Ronnie. And as we say, 38 years this World Championship has been. This is when he was introduced and he got a standing ovation. Look what it meant to him. Emotional. Ronnie not tempted by that red. And played a nice safety shot. It's very difficult here to play safe off the red that's close to the right-hand cushion. So close, you'd probably get a double kiss. So playing off the main cluster, he's going to open a few, so needs to have a good cue ball. A bit thick.
Yeah, John Parrott mentioned before about how he lost the first session in the Masters final 7-1, Mark Selby. This first session is crucial. But I just get the feeling he's been dying to get another shot at Sullivan after that final. But 4 sessions, you don't see Ronnie Sullivan lose many sessions at the World Championship, so he's going to have to be at his best, Selby, in this final.
Once again, a thick safety. He got away with the last one, and it doesn't appear he's left one here either.
And the table was recovered after the semi-finals, new cushions, new cloth, so it might take them a few shots each just to get the pace of the table. You see the table fitters hard at work late last night, getting the table ready for the final.
Well, this time, too thin. So, just not settled yet, Mark. Yeah, we go back to the Masters, because of course that was their last big meeting, and Mark knows, and I don't think he'll really be comfortable in this match, Stephen, until he gets that first frame on the board. And he'd love it to be the first frame.
Yeah, and that's why Ronnie's 2 previous matches, 6-2 up against Murphy, 6-2 up against Hawkins, when I commented the match was virtually over, because he just doesn't lose many sessions.
Yeah, the only time he's really been put under any pressure was by Joe Perry, and Joe Perry, funnily enough, won the first session of. They played 8 frames, and Joe led 5-3, and it took a bit of time for Ronnie to get that deficit back. No path back to the ball end that time. So just playing a containing safety. Thinks leaving the cue ball here. He's not left anything, but Ronnie having a close look here. But obviously, no pot on. Coming up to 6.5 minutes. As I say, it's usual this. Just a cagey start and just get your cue arm going. But at the moment, Ronnie's safety play is absolutely, it was perfect. And as I say, playing safe off this red, as close to the right hand cushion, is very, very dangerous if he tries to get back into baulk. And he did get a slight double kiss, which is why he's catching the blue. First chance to Ronnie.
Yeah, not an easy chance, but a chance to stun off the cushion for the pink to the right corner. Yeah, hit that so well.
excellent shot, but he's still got a bit of work to do here. I don't think
7.
this is a straightforward pot the red and be certain to be on the colour. He's got to try and avoid or judge the kiss off the second red.
8.
Just an inch or two further, he'd have been okay on this pink, but it was always going to be difficult to judge how the cue ball was going to get off the other reds. That's a tremendous shot. He made it look so easy, cueing down like that to control the cue ball
40.
nicely on the next red. Well played. Pink a bit tougher this time.
Yeah, I don't think position's automatic either. I think all these reds are to the left corner covering each other. So you might have to play this with a bit of pace, which makes it even more difficult.
Well, made it look very simple, didn't he?
21.
And he did play with that little bit of pace that Stephen suggested, and he's nicely on this red.
22.
Already, just in these few pots that he's played so far, he looks sharp already. Normally, or sometimes you don't get through the ball well until maybe
28.
the first, near the end of the first frame to second frame,
29.
but he's timing the ball well already.
Thank you. 35.
Still quite a few awkward balls before we can consider this a frame-winning opportunity.
36.
But you know, he's such a quick brain, Ronnie, that he can seize opportunities to bring balls into play. And of course, he earned himself this chance by playing excellent safety. He's a little bit disappointed with that one, though.
42.
He didn't want that cue ball tight against the cushion. Red's okay. Position could be a problem.
43.
Well, if he's the wrong side of the pink, he may have a problem getting the next red. Unless he plays for the one on the right-hand side of the table that's near the top cushion. Test the cue in this. Well, struck it beautifully. Now, has he got an angle on one of these reds?
49.
Straight on the one to the right corner, obviously. And you can't try and pinch a little bit of the pocket to get up for an easy pink here, so. Couldn't do much with the
50.
cue ball, but does the black go to the left corner? It does. Well, another excellent shot. And this next one could be the
57.
key to the frame, because in potting this red, he's going to have to screw into the three reds. If he finishes on a colour, these reds will be in play. Well, only one of them, but he'll settle for
58.
that nicely on the black. Quick glance at the scoreboard. This black will put him 65 points in front with just 75 remaining. So this black, one more red and a colour. What a start. obviously going up for the one that was near the baulk pocket, and as long as he's got a slight angle.
65.
After this, any colour will put him in the snooker's required stage. Any colour.
66.
You can't start much better than this, Stephen, can you?
No, when he first came to the table at the start of this break, it certainly didn't look like there was a frame-winning opportunity on. He had a couple of nice flicks in the middle of it to land on pinks. But apart from that, it's been amazing cueing.
Just a little grimace there, because if he doesn't catch
69.
the pink, he'd have been on one of these reds along the top cushion. Cross double.
Ronnie O'Sullivan,
Just playing
69.
the safety. Doesn't want to give his opponent any table time. What a break that was. So 69 points the lead, 67 remaining. Played that red into the middle, more or less as a shot for nothing. He's determined that he's not going to play any silly shots and give Mark Selby anything easy to get his arm going and start potting a few balls, trying to keep him cold. Well, Mark went for that red, missed it, and now a chance for Ronnie to keep Mark Selby in his seat.
1.
So there you see 77 ahead, 59
Eight.
remaining. I don't think Mark Selby will bother coming back to the table, unless it's for a bit of potting practice.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 8. And the first frame.
And he does concede, so Ronnie didn't allow Mark Selby to pot a ball, and what a marvellous 69 break that was, created by his good safety. Mark Selby will have to do better in that department. The reigning champ, 1-0 in front.
Thank you. Second frame. Mark Selby to break. Don't call out when they're at the table, please.
Nice break off shot. So Ronnie having a look at this red on the right-hand side of the table. He's just thinking if he played the pot and left it low, he could be on the black. And he also thought the only red he could possibly leave if he missed the pot was the one that he played. That seems to be the case. Always like this, keep his hands warm and sip of hot water. They say it's good for the indigestion. That's a better safety from Mark Selby. think he just swerved that slightly, which is why he's got it a fraction too thin, but I don't think he's left anything. Although Mark's just having a look at this red near the black. It does cut, it's a thin one, but maybe he feels as though he can get on a baulk colour. Should it go in? And he's off the mark. But unfortunately, got too good a cue ball.
Mark Selby 1.
Well, he's played a snooker, but he's not going to gain that much of an advantage from it. No problem, just going into the pack.
Yeah, that's the line, unless he hit it too well. If he hits the wrong red and slips by them, he could leave something, and that is a careless mistake. I bet Ronnie can't believe he found that gap.
Oh, that was a poor shot. A huge target there. Again, maybe the new cloths and the cushions caught him out slightly, slid more than he was expecting.
1.
So first real scoring opportunity for Mark Selby. He can play for a red to the same pocket here.
Eight. 9.
Probably a little bit lower on this black than he would like, but he can get into the reds. Ooh, but don't miss the black.
Mark Selby 9.
Does that black come to his rescue? I don't think so. That red still goes to the right middle. I was just going to say, Stephen, the one thing you've got to avoid doing, and particularly early on in a match, is miss easy balls when you're in.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, John. I know we're only in the second frame of a 35-frame final, but it cannot be given Ronnie more confidence than obviously he already has. And nothing gives you confidence as when your opponent misses easy balls.
Once again, beautiful control of the cue ball. They'll be looking to leave a half ball black. There's a few loose reds to play on, but he liked the black back on its spot.
Four.
Another beautifully played positional shot.
11.
Absolutely inch perfect. Coming round off two cushions with a trace aside like that, and as I say, to the inch.
Twelve.
Immediately,
90.
he spotted this plant. So I say about Ronnie, you know, he's got everything. He just keeps looking at the packs, seeing what's available, trying to make things easier for himself. But even for the maestro, when you go into a cluster,
27.
you always need a bit of luck. And that one hasn't worked out.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 27.
Well, I'll be disappointed with this split that he played. Just wanted to miss that, really. If he'd have caught the other one, he'd have kicked a few open and it'd have released the cue ball. But unlike Ronnie, in this tournament so far, Stephen, when he has run out of position, had an easy safety shot to play, he's usually made it count. He's not made this one count.
No, he's left Mark with a pot to the left corner. He's got to get it, though, because if he doesn't, he's going to be leaving the red that's to the right of the pink, to the left centre. So there's a bit of pressure on this. Well, he played it in such a way to get the white further down the table, but the red he played was always going to be a danger as well. So, just worrying signs at the minute. I know it's very early again, but you can't afford to let Ronnie dictate these first 4 frames.
One.
And also John sitting in his chair, Mark Selby, hard not to let his mind drift back to that Masters final.
Absolutely.
8.
And sometimes you can get a feeling when you're playing someone like Ronnie that you got to play your absolute best. It's pressure on you to not miss a ball, and even that can have an effect on you.
9.
And as I say, I don't think he'll really relax Mark Selby until he gets that frame on the scoreboard, and he'd want to get it sooner rather than later. I just get the feeling that the second frame has gone. I'd be surprised if Ronnie didn't get enough here. 33 ahead,
60.
75 remaining. 4 of these remaining reds required.
17.
Just having a look, he thought the pink didn't go on its spot.
We'll check here, but it goes on either. Yeah.
The referee convinced that it does go on. There's 2 reds in possible positions.
23.
So Ronnie a little bit surprised. I'm not certain what was going on there. But he's still got 2 reds in the open, and these 2 reds with high value colours will put him in the
24.
snooker's required stage. Ronnie trying to get a look as to where he's
31.
putting the pink. He couldn't believe it went on the spot, but it did. So this blue,
32.
and it'll put him 54 points in front with just 51 remaining. Well, these reds are obviously a clamp to the left corner. So it didn't matter about the
37.
pink going on its spot. Oh, well. He'll kick
Ronnie
himself
O'Sullivan,
there.
37.
He will be kicking himself. It looked a dead set plan. I don't know why he needed to play it so hard. But Mark Selby now, just a bit of a bounce, trying to force the cue ball over. 1 snooker needed. It's not impossible. In it goes. Needs a bounce though. Ideally, in an ideal world, you'd pot the black, play the red on the left-hand side, followed by a black, and then play a snooker behind the pink off the red just below the pink. But is that still a possibility?
I think I'd like to put a little cannon on that red. No, he's not. Just to loosen it a little bit. I don't think it was that straightforward if the red's touching the pink to lay a snooker. I've been trying to maybe catch the edge of that red there off the black. But he obviously wanted to make sure he didn't miss the black.
Oh, he's got to bounce again. Well, he's going to pop the black in the middle pocket. So Ronnie made a mistake there and has given him half a chance. This black needs to go in. It looks like it's there. Good shot. Unfortunately, the easy snooker behind the pink is not on. That cue ball needed to be
60.
on the right-hand side of the table. But that pot on the black keeps him in with a slim chance.
Well, Selby, 16.
And Mark
Frame
puts his
conceded.
hand up and says, "Well, that's enough for me if it's all right with you." And Ronnie gratefully receives it. Give him half a chance there, but just couldn't control the cue ball. 2-0, Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Raising the hand in the air. Always surprising me, John. Ronnie breaks off left-handed. He's so good. Plays every shot. Why can't he break off right-handed?
Well, what he explained to me was that he feels, and when he breaks off left-handed, he's playing it with right-hand side, and he said, "I just feel that when I play it left-handed, I seem to get better reaction." And he believes that you've got to be a foot this side of the baulk line to find the baulk cushion and use the green as a blocker. Another weak safety shot from Mark. This will not do.
It goes back to his chair, Mark Selby. He'll be annoyed. He'll know more than anyone what a good start meant today. And Ronnie might take the opportunity to go straight into the bunch here. Played the more conservative shot. I suppose the black's blocked up, so that's why he didn't take that risk. That was nicely controlled. Now obviously looking for a nice angle in the blue
3.
to go into the pack.
Four.
And if he picked a white up with his hand, he couldn't put it in a better place. So straight into the pink here. Doesn't want to catch the pink either side because he could go in off. Yeah, full in the face, perfect.
And you probably noticed that there was every chance of it. Released the black as well. That's why he played it with such pace. And you couldn't have played it any better than that. There we go. Right on the pink, holds a cue ball in the middle of the table. And as I say, also brought the black into play.
10.
I'll be a little bit annoyed with that. Played for the blue. Overscrewed it somewhat.
$12.
Beautifully controlled again. That cue ball's on a piece of string at the moment. could play for a red to the right corner, but then in doing that he'd be playing for the black. And the black at the moment I don't think goes on his own spot. He'd like to play the red that's occupying the black spot before he thinks about potting the black. But sometimes the way the balls are dictates what you play.
$90. Okay. 20.
And now an opportunity to play on that red that's occupying the black spot. If he can hold the cue ball. He's had a look at the blue, but this pink is a lot easier pot. But got to do a little bit with the cue ball here. Held it beautifully.
26. $27. $32. 33.
Just get the feeling he can rush run through. Knew he was going to nudge the red. But it's not done any harm.
39.
And he could play for the black this time.
$40. $47.
You see it, 47 ahead. 83 remaining. But looks like that poor safety shot from Mark
48.
Selby. It's going to cost him this third frame. Not settled yet. Hardly played a decent safety, and this was the one. Caught it much too thick. Instead of reaching the baulk line, just reached the baulk cushion. He reached the baulk line and of course left the red on.
Yeah, it was interesting watching Mark Selby in his seat. His
55.
eyes were following Ronnie all the way around the table as he was walking around.
56.
It's almost as if he'd been hypnotised. He needs to get his focus back in his own game, and quickly. This final could disappear this session.
63.
Just the red then.
64.
64 the lead. With just 59 remaining. Another frame has slipped by. He is introduced, Ronnie, as by Rob Walker. Blink and you'll miss it.
71. 72.
This is a sensational start. Just over 36 minutes. And 3 frames in the bag. Now, can you put the icing on the cake?
78.
Give this capacity crowd a
79.
century.
$86. 87. 94.
Absolutely sensational. It really is. That's Ronnie's 11th century of the tournament, the 55th of the championship. And they wouldn't be played much better than that. Misses the yell, it doesn't matter. He gave the crowd what they come to see. A Ronnie O'Sullivan century in style. He leads 3-0.
Thank you. Frame 4. Mark Selby to break.
Mid-session interval after this frame. He'd love to take something back to the dressing room, Mark Selby, some positive. As we show you this wonderful arena. It really is theatre. And that's what they're playing for. The World Championship trophy. Tremendous long pot from Ronnie. Found a nice gap. And a lot will depend here as we watch the shot again. And look at the gap he found between the red and black. But he knew then that it was just a bit pacey. Maybe he thought he could get the cannon on the red near the black. All depends on the angle on the brown as to whether he'll take the pot on or not. Slight angle. Well, that's the first shot I can remember him missing, really, when the frame was alive.
He won't play for the black off this red because the black won't spot, so just play for the brown. That was well struck. That'll give him confidence, just that one shot there. Hit that really well.
Five. Six.
Well, he's got the angle on the black just to play for the one open red. Normally we say go into the pack off the blue, but with that pin
13.
just being separated from the main bunch, it's not a straightforward one. He may play for a bought colour here. Needs a good angle on the yellow.
40.
And he's not got it. If he'd have had an angle on the yellow, he could have played off the side cushion and come into the side of the cluster, but I don't see how he can bring reds into play here.
Yeah, that's what happened when you're under pressure. You tend to concentrate more on just getting the pot and take your mind off the positional play. Whereas when you're full of confidence, it just comes naturally. This is a good effort, though.
Oh, well, he deserves it. He deserves it. He didn't hit them with great pace, but he hit them absolutely perfect. And now going into the cluster, and he got a lovely line here just to catch the edge of the red. If it had caught the middle, nothing would have developed, and just enough pace to knock that red out. Superb shot. So in he goes. What's he on? He possibly, I was going to say possibly a red to the far right corner, but I think it's blocked by another red. It is. We just saw a glimpse of it there. Anything else to go at? That was the red he'd have hoped to be on, but that other red just went up the table and blocked the path to the pocket. And the fact he's looking at the baulk cushion for safety. Hit them very well. But that's always the problem. When you play that screw and it releases and it comes away from the red, but a little unlucky not to have the red to the far right corner.
Well, Selby 25.
But at least he's got a foothold in the frame. And we've not been able to say that before. Gap through the middle of these reds? Nah. No. You can't get through to that. You wouldn't expect Ronnie to fall for something like that, and he obviously took the cue ball to the right hand side of the table, knew the red wouldn't pass the yellow. It's not the most telling of safety shots, but it contains the situation. That's all he felt he could do. There's the average frame time so far for the first 3 frames, 12.5 minutes. Well, I was going to say maybe Mark Selby can slow it down a bit now in this frame, but not after a pot like that.
Yeah, I suppose he's a little bit unlucky there, Mark, because he'd never left run an easy safety shot. He was forced into playing the pot, and now he's got it. And you would say it's not a clear cut frame winning chance, but a couple of shots time, that could all change. You think brown, red, then a nice angle on green or yellow, and he'll be able to come off one cushion and go into the bunch.
You can see Ronnie just looking where he likes to leave the cue ball for that shot that Stephen suggested. Yellow, side cushioning into the reds.
Yeah, and the reds are already loose, so you would think virtually impossible to not be on one.
I know you've won 7 world titles, Stephen, and it must be a great feeling for Ronnie when you know you've come out, you're hitting the ball well like you did over the years. You know, what a feeling when you're full of confidence like this.
Yeah, and also a feeling, you know, we talked about the intimidation he's got over other players. It's a great feeling when you think that they can't beat you.
9.
So Mark Selby. Oh, was that nestled on the other one? Is he not on it? Has he let it slip?
16.
Mark Selby's here. A light at the end of this tunnel.
Well, that's very rare. You see a little careless shot from Ronnie. That will annoy him.
It is now? Yeah, because it wasn't when we both looked. Yeah. 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 So I'm going to move it back then. Yeah, okay.
So apparently it wasn't touching when Ronnie first went to the table and the referee. Okay. But Ronnie, he's just sizing it up. But Ronnie did say to the referee, Brendan Moore, he said, I know I can't get through to the red. He said, but, and listen, if it was touching, it'd favour Ronnie. It'd make this safety shot a lot easier. So he's been very sporting here, Ronnie. But he'll be disappointed. He's not made the most of this opportunity. And Mark Selby, for once, will be very relieved.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 16.
Now is this red to the left corner? Got a nice angle to follow through of 2 cushions for the black. Needs good cueing. You think if he misses it, it'll cost him the frame, so big shot.
Long way out, it has to be said. A long way out.
And that's just purely the pressure that's been put on him.
One.
Where's the red, the one closest to the black in the middle of the table that you'd think Ronnie could play and get on with no problem whatsoever? Played it nicely.
3. Four.
Just didn't catch that red as he would like. Is there a bonus? Second prize, the red closest to the pink goes to the right middle.
11.
Because he's not perfect on the red to the right corner. Well, it looks as though it might just go. It's very tight though. Be a bit careful where the cue ball goes here. And he's missed the red, and
Ronnie
just that
O'Sullivan.
little cannon. That's
11.
2 little cannons now he's played, and they've gone the other way. They've not worked out as planned.
Yeah, I think the first one that he missed, he's maybe overcompensated just a little bit. That one, the cue balls, he's let the cue ball drift a bit further left than he wanted. So another chance for Mark.
Yeah, good solid pot. And nicely on the brown. The most difficult red is the one that's near the left-hand cushion, because I'm certain once that
5.
red in the middle of the table, the one that's free is potted. The one just below the pink will go. Certainly into the left corner.
6.
So this is as good a chance as he's had. Played that well.
Yeah, that was a great shot. Really was.
13.
It's so important, this visit, just for his own self-confidence and belief in this final. Is he planning to take the red off the cushion here? No, he did have an angle.
40.
His heart must have been in his mouth. Well, playing the pink, this brings this red into the open. And that didn't wobble, that was straight in the pocket. But this one, any harder, it doesn't go in.
20. $21.
So the pink will put him 24 points in front, so needs this last red and a colour. Needs this cue ball to just bounce a little. He'd like to bounce a little bit more.
27.
Big shot. Yeah, well done.
Thank you.
And you could like to have the cue ball
28.
travel maybe another couple of inches. Still should get this black, but there's pressure and everything at the moment.
This black took a 32 points in front with just 27 remaining. Well played. Let's rely
35.
a little bit on Ronnie's mistakes. But 2 snookers needed now for Ronnie. And that will mean that Ronnie won't bother coming back to the table, so Mark Selby will go to the mid-session interval with a frame on the scoreboard. Won't matter
Mark
about
Selby,
the green, I'm sure.
37.
Well, Ronnie just having a look at the situation. And not like Ronnie to play on in these situations. 3 snookers needed, but not going to give anything away easy in this first session of the final. He knows how important it is, and he'll be a little bit annoyed, Ronnie. He's had 3 opportunities in this frame and didn't make the most of them.
Thank you. 3.
And that will be announced. Yes, Ronnie announced the referee. That's the first frame on the scoreboard for Mark Selby. He'll be mighty relieved going to his dressing room. Ronnie O'Sullivan, though, in fine form. And he may be a little bit disappointed. It's only 3-1.
Thank you. Frame 5.
Very good afternoon, Hazel.
Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
So Ronnie gets this first frame after the mid-session interval underway. You see, haven't even been playing for an hour. And there's the average frame time, under 14 minutes, and it was so important for Mark Selby to take that last frame. Ronnie at 94%. He's just been under hitting some of his safety shots, you know, in the first 4 frames. He hasn't been finding the ball cushion. He normally does that.
One of the key stats there, the Dennis Viz's pot success rate down at 84%. I mean, last night in the whole match, over the 4 sessions he played against Robertson, it was over 90% for the whole match. So that, for me, is the key. He's missed a few pots today. As you rightly say, his safety has not been of a great length. And once again, it's not the best safety shot he's ever played. He's left it well short.
Yeah, we all thought that that semi-final would take a lot out of Mark, but he's quite a fit lad. And he was around the hotel this morning, and he looked pretty fresh after that terrific win against Neil Robertson. That's okay. Still pretty safe, even though he caught that jaw of the middle pocket.
If it misses the yellow, which it hasn't done, it was a better weight. And the only red one you can see is the one on the cushion. You never know with Ronnie, he might try to pot this and screw back into balk. Looking at the one cushion escape just below the pink. Perhaps just can't see enough to try and get, as long as you get the jaws, or well, he's not playing, he's just resting into the pack.
That's not what he wanted. He might be okay, though. 2 reds that are near the black spot, not available, but he's looked at the one that's just to the left of the white, and it obviously is too thin, but the one just behind those two could possibly take this on as a shot to nothing. And he's running back up the table. He's caught the jaws in the middle pocket again. So instead of it being a shot to nothing, all of a sudden he's let Ronnie in. He risked that because the black was over the pocket. He thought, if I can pot this and get a safety shot at the same time, I'd have a chance at the black. But he got pretty close to the pot. That's why it stayed in the jaws of the pocket. But it's still not straightforward.
Yes, I haven't got an angle on this red to be able to stun across the table and kiss the 2 reds away from the black spot. That's what he'd like to do, but the red's a little bit straight. Pink's available into the middle, so probably would like to get the pink first rather than tie the black up.
think the black is going to be tied up, but in a couple of shots' time, he could get himself into position to bring it back into play. Not going to be easy from here, though, unless the black goes. If the black pots in this left corner pocket, he can screw into the pack, move a few, but you can see the black doesn't pot there. So that was never going to be easy. Faced with a very tricky pink. See, the red above the black pots into the right corner, but he can't get himself into position to get on that and then just nudge the red away from the black. That's what his plan was, but he's not in the correct position to get on that red. Possible pot into the middle pocket. Brendan Moore, we'll just check as we show you the pink going in. The pink spot is not available, so the highest available spot on this occasion 50. Is the yellow. But there is a red to the middle, and if it's straight, he can take it on. He's running into the other reds. But with the red up the other end of the table, it's not an easy situation, this. Very little available to Ronnie here.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 50.
I'm not sure if Mark, as he looks at the reds around the black, he might take the one up near the yellow. If he hits the cushion first and catches it correct, he'll send the red back up the table and a chance. That's what he's looking at there, a chance to get in behind the yellow, but he'd have to be very precise with that. If he doesn't catch it correct, he could send the red into the brown or into the yellow and pink. So he's putting the side. Look where he's hitting the cue ball. Yeah, played it well. Just have a look where he's hitting this here. Out on the extreme right to create the side.
That's the loose safety shot from Ronnie. If it just drifts by the green, which it has done, there's plenty of room around the back of the black here, and these are just shots that Mark Selby normally knocks in kind of 9-ish out of 10, so he'll be taking this on. As he's coming around two cushions, just looking to see if the pink pots. If it doesn't, we know that the brown, yellow and green all pot in that left-hand corner. Just got to make sure he doesn't finish near the right-hand side cushion, having hit the first two cushions. There's the first two. Just want to spin off this cushion a little bit. Has it gone too much? May have done.
He's pretty good with that type of shot. Now, can he get through to the potting angle of the yellow? He can.
Mark Selby, one.
At first glance, I don't think he's done a lot of damage here. his eye off the pot, was concentrating on this cannon onto the reds here. But he didn't leave anything. And that's... Well, I think the brown's okay. It's covering the one that he pushed towards the corner pocket, as you can see there. So that was a bit of a chance that Mark let slip. I was so impressed with him last night, watching him against Neil Robertson. The way he clinched the match was fabulous, because it was very difficult to pick a winner of that semi-final. But the way he closed the match out, you know, it was sensational, really.
Yes, and Neil Robertson will be sitting at home now wondering, you know, what happened, because he never played a bad shot, really, Neil Robertson. It was just a fabulous match, both players at the top of their form. It obviously has taken a little bit out of Mark, as you would expect, but just stay close this session if you can. If you can get out of this session no worse than 5-3, obviously there's loads of other results that could happen. He could still win the session, but 5-3 behind or 4-4, would be pretty happy after losing the 3 of the first 4 frames.
Has that red covered the red that's near the pocket? He played it in such a way that if he didn't get it behind the pink, the red would cover the red, and there you can clearly see he played that very nicely. And it's not an easy safety shot for Mark Selby here. Just looking to see if he could drop on the 2 reds near the blue, and I think the brown's in the way. That's what he's faced with there. You can only see the 2 reds, the right side of the table. If he had cushioned first there and got the red that's closest to the pocket and got the white somewhere near the tip of his cue. But that's a little dangerous, because there is a red available to the right middle pocket. So that's why he's having to give this plenty of thought. The reason he can't go over the right side of the table, I'll put the line up, that's what he'd like to do, but look, with the white, it would hit the brown. So the brown's in the way there, and that's why he's not considering that escape. But I think this first shot that I suggested, hitting the cushion first, he might just get away with this. It's the red that may go to the middle pocket, but has that red covered it? But he's purposely left this. He was in a bit of a hole there, Mark, and he thought, well, if he knocks this in the middle pocket, well and good, but I couldn't do much else. Well, it's worked. His plan worked there. He knew he was leaving a tempter. He thought long and hard before he played the escape, Mark, and it's worked to his advantage.
Yes, and the key thing here, he knows that Ronnie will be even more disappointed if Mark can go on and win this frame, because Ronnie obviously should have won the 4th frame, which Mark pinched. Now all of a sudden we could be looking at a scoreline of 3-2. He's right back into this session.
Well, a shot I mentioned ages ago for Ronnie, Mark might be able to play now to get on the red there, just to the left of the 2, in such a way he could bring the black into play, and he's played it well. He can now pot that and flick the other red out of the way. That's if that red passes the black. I mean, I was never sure if it did, but if it does, it's going to open the game right up for him.
And there's the perfect picture, Dennis, of the shot you suggested, and he can play it. He doesn't mind if he gets on the blue here, just to get the blue out of the way as well, because that'll be causing a problem for the reds around the black spot area. Surprised me, that.
9.
No, it's okay, because he's looked at it. He can take the blue and that red will go. So that was the reason he chose not to cannon the red. So he spotted that blue that you mentioned, Willie.
Needs to get straightish on this red though, doesn't he? Doesn't want to be low. That's the problem ball out of the way.
40.
And now a chance to score quite heavily. Will it be heavy enough to close the gap to 1?
50. $22.
That's so
23.
careless. So much room. 2 inches shorter, 2 inches longer. The only thing you can't do is finish hampered. Well, you can't believe it, nor can we.
Mark Selby, 23.
That's a shame. He had a good chance there and just leaving himself awkward. He was only going to get the extra 7 points there. I mean, the ideal place would be to try and get in behind the yellow. I don't know if he can do that. He'd have to come off this red, and as long as he gets on the ball cushion, but that'll do nicely. Could be quite a tactical battle now with that black over the pocket. And gradually these reds may get pushed towards that black, and we could have a little bit of a stalemate.
We've already mentioned people have come from New Zealand to watch this fabulous championship. We've met the 2 people there. They've got tickets now for the final session. Poor safety shot from Ronnie. But here's a gentleman that's a really good player. The one on the right of those 2 is a fellow called Kenny Shea, and he's made 7 maximum breaks. He's a prolific century break player from Canada.
I think he knows we're talking about him now, Willie.
That might be to do with the earpiece then, Dennis.
Can Mark cut this in? Can he avoid the cannon? That's the thing. Oh, he needs to cover that. He needs the pink to come to his rescue, and it's going to. Kenny will He'll be celebrating his 80th birthday shortly, and just a couple of weeks ago he knocked in 100 break Willie back in Canada. He's a great character.
Yes, big pal of Cliff Thorburn, who's obviously here again this year. It's great to see Cliff. Now that's a loose safety shot. Selby can get through to this red. Doesn't matter where the cue ball finishes, as long as it's not in off in the middle, of course, but anywhere is fine, where the black is.
Full ball on the brown would do. Very nice. So he's got to get the cue ball out around the pink spot area to leave that red. And difficult to control the shot when the ball's so close to the pocket. Played with a little bit of drag and side. He's played it nicely.
Already looking at what angle he needs on the blue to have a choice of moving the three reds off the left-hand side cushion, or probably screwing into the three reds behind the black, depending on what angle he gets. So we'll try and get top side of the blue here. It looks perfect to me. He has the choice. He can play either cannon. But he'd want him just miss the first red, so he can just nudge into the middle red of those three to push the last one right over the corner.
Yeah, he did exactly as you said, Willie. It's just brought the one red into play, though, so he's got to look for another angle to get another cannon. To cannon into the three that's near his hand, you're better from the right side of the table. That's a great shot.
15.
It's like a little trick shot he played there. Superb. Of course, he was an 8-ball world pool champion, so he does see shots that some of the other players wouldn't see.
20.
Yeah, definitely a bonus to bring the second red out. He obviously knew he was bringing the first one out, but he's now 29 in front. This will be 30, so somehow three reds, three colours. Just as you said that, he misses an easy red.
Mark Selby, 20.
Well, amazing. He probably was way ahead of himself
Quiet
there.
down, please.
He was thinking about getting an angle on the blue and then leave an angle to cannon into the three reds that are tied up by the black, and took his concentration off that pot. And now Ronnie, if this white pulls up, it's not going to, so he hasn't got the angle to cannon into the three reds. He'll have to play for the single red first. Ronnie can get, well, if he's straight on the
6.
The red, he'll have to screw back for the blue, and he is straight, so no good leaving the black from this side, so he'll screw back for the blue here. And now he'll play the cannon
7.
onto the three reds, and if this works out, a chance to maybe pinch the frame. Didn't quite get into it.
12. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 12.
Yeah, it just didn't quite get that last shot as he intended, but you need to be careful of the double kiss here, Mark. He's played it well. Yeah, Ronnie's shot there, he's on the blue, he's trying to just get the white into the gap there, but he probably didn't quite get into it as he intended.
Mark Selby was feeling a little better within himself, there'd be a bit of a shock to the system to Mr. Janisi Reddy's last visit, but he's 17 points in front. He knows he's going to have to go all out for this and hold for the black virtually straight, and then he should win the frame. And as you can see there, just decelerated on the cue completely. I mean, that was the worst hit he's done this championship.
Oh, he hit that so poorly that he's left the red. He wouldn't have left these reds at all, but just cued across that slightly. And wow, he's looking at the balls and he knows that he's left the lot here.
There's no power. He's played to stun it, hasn't he, Dan? It was he'd lost all the strength of the pot on the way down. And this lead was pretty good where the balls were a moment ago, but it could evaporate very quickly where they are now.
And even the yellow and green are okay, because if he gets on the yellow eventually, he'll only have to drop it in to leave the
8.
green.
9.
And that's about perfect. So he's just looking at the red now to see where he wants to leave that, to get himself onto the blue and then just screw over behind the yellow.
$40. 50.
Now, has he got the angle? Because he needs to get somewhere near the circle to leave a nice easy yellow, just to roll the yellow in and get on the green, but he can't screw directly there, so he's going to have to be a bit careful. A little bit further up the table, he could have just screwed the blue in and got nicely on that. I mean, he could go between the brown and pink, but how accurate would that have to be? And that's what he's done, and he's hit the brown. So it was the previous shot that was the poor one. He's going to have to try and get the snooker now in behind
20.
the green and brown. Well, behind the pink will do.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 20.
No problem hitting this, but can he get it safe? He'd like to hit it full ball and leave the white at this end and not the yellow past the middle pocket, but he'll have to hit it hard to do that. Anything but a jaw should be okay.
Well, there's a little bit sticking out, and well, I'm just wondering if he hits this thin enough and misses the black, he'd head back up the table. Playing it off the cushion, and that's pretty good. Oh, he's close. He's in.
Foul.
But listen, I
Mark
wonder,
Selby, 4.
could it be a free ball? Now then, Brendan Moore will put the white. He'll just check the D and put the white right at the edge of the D, just to check that he can hit both sides of it. No free ball. Great to see Brendan doing his first World Championship final. One of the nicest lads you could ever wish to meet, and one of the best referees we've got in the game. And he's absolutely delighted. He's been talking about it for quite a while. Oh, the the family are here to support him. So well done, Brendan. You're doing a great job.
Decision time. It's a very easy snooker, but is he going to try and drop the pink in? Sorry, the yellow in the middle. Looks like he's playing the snooker with the way he's queuing. Don't blame him for that at all. And this is, with the green being where it is, I think Ronnie can just get through the gap of the green and brown to the cushion. He played off 2 cushions, trying to hit it right from behind. Just send the yellow past the middle again. Not bound to go right this one. Wasn't bound to go right this one, so Selby has a chance now to win the frame.
If he's got the angle to screw this in anywhere near the white line, or just short of it, and he'd be perfect on the green. Oh, he's played it well. He's played it well.
2. Five. Nine.
Well, he should be okay. Easy blue, and he'll be mighty relieved after missing a long red and putting Ronnie right in amongst them.
14.
Vicky and her parents delighted there. I think it'd be so important for Mark Selby to take this frame. He lost the first 3, and now he's won 2 in a row, but he still trails by 1 frame. It's 3-2 to Ronnie.
This is OSN Sports 2 HD live. We're down to the chosen few.
That is absolutely magnificent.
The stage is set.
Amazing darting drama. This is marvellous, it really is.
Crowd awaits.
I love it. Why wouldn't you love it? That's what it's all about.
As we take you all the way to the final.
Who would have thought it?
Premier League darts continues. For the full schedule, visit osn.com/sports. This is OSN Sports 2 HD live.
Thank you. Frame 6. Mark Selby to break.
Well, can Selby complete the mini comeback already? 3-0 behind, breaking off in frame 6. A chance to obviously level the scores at 3-all. And having seen how he started in the match, where his safety wasn't good, his ice break wasn't good, his ice break, amazing enough, is only 37, and he's managed to win 2 frames against a player of Ronnie's class. You won't expect that. But the key thing is he's now got a foothold in the match.
the kiss on the green there. He's left Ronnie a possible pot to the middle, and he can get himself up onto the black, just looking at the situation. In 2 shots time, as we show you this terrific pot into the middle pocket, but look how he controlled the cue ball. The red at the back of the bunch is available, and if he gets on that in such a way, he can pot it and then go right into the bunch. And there you go. He's absolutely spot on, and he's got to make sure he doesn't finish on the cushion when he splits the reds. Only really developed 1 red, 1 black, 2 reds. Oh, this red goes at the left of the bunch, and he's going to go into them again here.
16.
Would you power it through down with top spin, or would you screw back off the outside red?
I think he's going to just stun it in, and well, he's left himself a delicate
17.
one here. He hadn't got the angle to push through them there, Willie, had he? Because he would have stuck in the reds on that occasion. No, stretching. He was stretching a bit there.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 70.
And Mark's left with a situation here, as we show you the stretch and put it on the near jaw. But if he gets on the black here, as we show you that black stay over the pocket, if Mark Selby gets on the black in such a way, he can pot the black and then scatter those reds.
Yes, if it just comes inside the green, which he is doing, anywhere on the cushion's fine. This is perfect. Well, these will be spread far and wide. It's just a case where the white comes away from the pack.
Well, he's a bit unlucky for the white. Oh, it's checked back as well. It was coming towards the blue, and all of a sudden, with all the side, it took off the baulk cushion and checked back. Now, that's very unlucky. Just watch this. It's so much side. It's hit this cushion, and the natural angle, well, the side just brought it towards the green. Bit unlucky, that.
Mark Selby, 8.
I think he's played a good safety shot there. I don't think Ronnie can get through to the potting angle of any red. And he's covered the right-hand side. The middle one of those 3, directly in line from the cue ball, will pot, but of course he can't avoid the cannon on the black. So he's looking at an alternative. And he's found an alternative.
That's one of the best alternatives I've ever seen, Willie. What a shot he's pulled out there. Okay, look where the cue ball's finished, but talking about a shot to nothing, I mean, what a pot. But if he had missed it, look where the white was. You know, he had the snooker if he doesn't pot it.
Played to perfection, wasn't it? As you rightly say, he made it into a shot to nothing. It looked dangerous when he first looked at the shot, but just needs a good positional shot here. It's been kept off the table for the last frame and a half. Missed a couple of balls, so he needs to get to grip of this match again. If he's straight, he can run through for the black.
5. 6.
Nicely played that. This is where the game can be
30.
so tough, you know. You've got to go and sit in your seat, and you're the one that's opened all the reds up, and you've got to sit there and watch your opponent pot the balls that you brought into play.
$40.
Yeah, he opened all those reds up, but he was unfortunate for the white to go way up the other end of the table. Yeah, this was the shot. I mean, he played it perfectly, but just to finish up where he did was a bit unfortunate.
Like all the top break builders are, Ronnie's up there with the very,
21.
very best of all time. All those little kisses they play all the time just to slow the cue ball down.
22.
The next 4 or 5 blacks don't seem a problem, and of course that'll take him way past the winning line, so he's going to open up a gap again of 2 frames.
$29. 30. $37. 38.
Quick glance at the scoreboard just to see how many he needs. He's only with 3 more pots, should secure the frame. I think an important frame for Ronnie to stop the mini comeback, because Mark was getting stronger.
45.
The best thing you can do is keep your opponent sitting in the seat when he looks like he's hitting top form again. The
46.
yellow's the only ball he can pot here. He's 55 in front. So if he pots the yellow, he still needs 1 more red. He knew the pink or blue would leave Mark needing a snooker, but the fact he's got to take the yellow, he needs another red. Safely in. And this looks pretty good unless he lands tight on this red. No, he's fine. Good
48.
shot that with the rest.
Yes, brilliant shot as the frame was still live at the time, wasn't it? So it was very, very important, and having lost the last 2 frames, there was a little bit of pressure on that. Just has to give for the cue ball to be cleaned. Ronnie, it's amazing how good Ronnie is with the rest tennis, considering he plays probably 85% of shots when most people would use the rest. He plays them left-handed, so precious little practice. As you can see, they haven't missed a shot with the rest as yet. 4 out of 4 for Selby, 2 out of 2 for Ronnie. And that's the frame over. We now can concentrate on making the 2nd century of this match.
$56. 57.
Just saw the red nut going off the middle of the pocket there, hence the cue ball's just got a little bit closer to the middle pocket than he played. And this time he's lost the cue ball. He tried to leave an angle on this red to pot the red and bring the red out.
63.
That's why he's playing the double. Oh, no centre this time, but Ronnie
63.
O'Sullivan's
And a frame.
established a two-frame lead again in this match. That break of 63, more than enough to take him into that two-frame lead at 4-2.
Thank you. Frame 7. Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
2 more frames to be played in this first session. And this looks as if it could be a snooker. Not that he was playing to get up behind the green, you're playing for the cushion because it's a straightforward escape here. Really do get involved here at the Crucible. They were all urging that white on. It really is a fabulous theatre. We keep saying it, but you know, coming here since 1977. It would be a brave man that made the decision to take snooker away from the Crucible.
And also, Dennis, I think if you're a snooker fan, you know, once before you consider not watching any snooker anymore, you must come to the Crucible just to see that atmosphere.
Yeah, I was commentating on an earlier match with Terry Griffiths, and Mark Allen was stood in behind us in the commentary box, and we were talking about that, and he said if he won the World Championship, he'd want to win it at the Crucible. He wouldn't want to win it anywhere else. Well, I think the crowd know that that was nowhere
Foul.
near.
A miss. Ronnie O'Sullivan 4.
Ronnie knows there's no point in putting this back. Well, he's left the possible spot. And there's a slight angle. This is a Mark Selby special. It's got to be so accurate. He's one of the best in the game at that type of shot, really, isn't he?
If that shot was 8 hours ago, Dennis, it would have gone in when he was playing against Robertson. Both hardly missed a long ball in the last 4 frames. It was such a high standard of play. I think sometimes you can probably expect to pot them a little bit too much. He's obviously on such a high as he went to bed last night, and probably didn't sleep very well. And of course, you just come back and expect to knock everything in. Well, it's a brand new day. As I said earlier, he'd love to get out of this session 5-3. Obviously, a bonus if he could get out of it 4-4, but he'd be happy with 5-3.
Foul on the miss. Ronnie O'Sullivan foot.
Could be a free ball, this.
Free ball.
Which means if Ronnie wanted, he could pot. Well, you'd think the brown would be the easiest pot. As he's free ball, he'd get 1 point for that.
Brown ball.
Play himself onto a colour.
Yeah.
He stunned it in because if he had a rolled the brown and he could have left the red that's just to the left of the pink, but that's why he stunned it, which made the pot more difficult. But that was an example of how you can beat a 1-4-7 break with a free ball at the start of a frame. In fact, Jamie Burnett from Scotland, I don't know whether it was the UK Championship, he made a break of 148, and that's how he achieved it. He got a free ball at the start of the frame.
Would love to play that safety shot thicker, but as you can see, when he kissed into the second red, if he plays it harder and thicker, he'd have pushed the red over the corner. That's why he just played it very, very thin. Once again, hasn't got the best of whites, but may have blocked off the the right-hand side of the table with the pink, and the left-hand side with the blue. So it may have turned out okay, that one.
Might just have got away with this. Don't know where that red cuts into the middle. It's quite a thin one. Mark's just looking at it, but I think it's too thin. This is what happened. There was just a little bit there, and well, he hit it coming back, not intended. But that red just kept on going, and it mustn't cut in because Mark would have already have played it.
It's deceiving from our commentary position because from here it definitely looks like it does, but obviously let's have a little look with Hawkeye's help whether we think it possibly cuts. Well, I think if he played it, I'd fancy him knocking it in. I know it's very, very thin. But he's not going to play it. He's looking at an alternative safety. Just taking over a minute studying this. to give Mark a little bit of congratulations here. I mean, oh, this is rolling off a little bit. He played that 4 ball.
Well, how costly is that going to be? Because he's on the red at the back of the bunch. He's on the red near the black spot. Let's have a look at this again. Looks okay there. Looks okay there. Maybe just drifted a fraction, but maybe he got a slight bit of unwanted side. That's nicely controlled. The only thing is, did the black go on its spot? He's looking there, Mark. If not, don't think the pink spot's available. That's a bit tight, so the referee will have to get his ball marker out and just check that. Of course, you can't have it checked before you pot the colour. You just have to sort of use your discretion as to what you think. Be hoping it doesn't go on the spot. Brendan Moore will get the ball marker and you'll see this. Oh, there's loads of room.
8.
But the red was always available to the middle.
Similar to Ronnie a few frames ago, Mark will be looking at getting the right angle on the blue very, very shortly.
9.
And if he goes into the red that's right in the pink spot, there's a plant on the 2 reds to the left-hand side of the back of the pack that will flick the red away from the black spot. So that's in a couple of shots' time. Wouldn't mind this going on the brown spot, really, because he can just take an extra 7 points with it being up there.
15. 16.
Just looking at that pack, he already glanced at it a few shots ago, did Mark Selby.
22.
Now there might possibly
23.
be a red that'll hit another red and go towards this right corner pocket. That's what he's looking at now. He's looking to see if I hit this hard, would it plant a red off? There you've got the perfect picture. Those 3 reds hits the red. So we'll find out shortly. Well, he's on absolutely nothing. Didn't quite get
28.
that as he intended. A bit unlucky though once he played the cannon to finish there. Let's have a look. Yeah, he hit it full on, but it just seemed to stick on that red.
Mark Selby, 28. Foul. Mark Selby, 4.
Yeah, Mark just getting the better of the tactical exchanges just at the present. He had to play that with a lot of side, but just caught it a bit thicker than he intended. I think if we get a few tactical frames, I think Mark may come out on top on those. I know Ronnie's one of the best safety players in the game, but you know, he likes to get in amongst the balls and get on with it. But at the moment, Mark's quite content for the games to be a little awkward.
Yes, just before that mistake in the previous frame, I was just about to say you've got to give credit to Mark Selby, struggling out there at the moment and having a high break of only 37. There's a slight chance now. He's got a chance of getting back to 4-3. Needs to play this a little bit powerfully. As you can see there, it only just pots off the left-hand jaw. Doesn't pot off the centre of the pocket.
5.
There's a lot of room there. That's the reason he's probably not guaranteed getting the right side of the blue. Just got enough to run through off the one cushion to get onto the red near the pink spot.
Tell you what, Willie, that shot that he potted in the pocket, there was very little room for it to go as we see the cue ball head onto
10.
the cushion. That's the last place he wanted it. I mean, that would only just go, and he hammered it into the pocket. Great judgment. But this is difficult. Very difficult.
Mark Selby, 10.
It was the shot before, Dennis, wasn't it? The blue. For somebody of Mark's class, he would have been distraught to see that cue ball finish glued to the cushion.
This was the blue that Willie was talking about. Played it with top spin, and he got a lot of margin for error. That's the last place he wanted to see it finish. Meanwhile, Ronnie's having to take the more difficult pink. Now then, just gone a little bit ragged this frame, as you can see.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 1.
Only one colour on its spot, that's the black. So, oh, is this a plant? No, no plant. And that, well, that's even tighter than the previous one, Willie.
I was just going to say exactly that, Dennis. It looks identical, doesn't it? Obviously in a different place. But you can certainly see as much of the pocket as he did on the previous one he played, and he hammered that in. But this is a bit further away from the cue ball.
But where's the position? He'll have to screw back off the reds and get up towards the pink, otherwise it'll be the brown. But it's all about the pot. But the white will spin away off that side cushion. Well, that's another cracking accurate pot.
1.
Obviously a lot of people here in the Crucible couldn't see how tight that was. They may have looked at the television screens, but once again it's almost the identical pot, Dennis, wasn't it, to the previous one? Very well done, that was tricky.
Just about okay, is he? Brown's just a bit of a distraction there. See, if he was straight on this red, he could just drop it in and leave the pink, but he, you know, if he runs it in, he'd go towards the cushion again, so. No, he can still hold it. In fact, that's one instance where the kick probably helped it slightly. It took the pace out of the cue ball, so you don't mind. Not often you say that. I've never seen a good kick before, but that was one.
Not too sure whether he's got a good angle on the pink to be able to kiss the black away and leave the red. If he hasn't, he can screw back off 2 cushions to get it to the red that's nearest his hand. That's the one he's played. Watch the cue ball. Wanted to go around the back of it, and he has gone around the back. Excellent shot.
14.
Yeah, this is why I call him Sat-Nav Selby. I mean, look at that, finding his way around the back of that red.
Well, as you can see, he played just to kiss the red away from the black there. But he's 48 points in front. If that kiss had worked, he'd have been under frame. Might be an idea to push the brown on the side cushion and try and get the white in behind the yellow and green. A thin clip on the brown, that's probably as good a choice as anything, Dennis, isn't it?
Sounds good to me, Willie.
Mark Selby, 15.
This was the shot where he was trying that delicate little cannon. If he had it just flicked off it, he'd have been perfectly on the black. And there's old Hawkeye again. One of these days he'll mess up. Well, look at that for a pot, but more importantly, what a great pot that was, because he knew if he knocks this in, he would get Ronnie in all sorts of trouble.
Closest to the yellow and green as possible to leave Ronnie no cushions but the top one. And that's pretty good. He's going to have to come off the baulk cushion now. Now he's playing the one I would think directly behind the black off 3 cushions. But if he kisses it half ball, he'll leave the red along the cushion. There's the 1, 2, 3. It's come off 2 square. Didn't go anywhere near where he wanted to then.
Foul in this. Mark Selby, 4.
Yeah, I think he's just looking to see if he could hit, because he definitely could hit the line. So maybe my first line's a little bit out, but yeah, he's looking at the spot where he hits. So my first part of the line is slightly out, but that's what he's after. And as Willie said, if he doesn't catch the red correctly, he's going to leave the other red.
Oh, thank you.
So he'd have to be absolutely spot on.
Of course, if he misses it this time, Dennis, he'll be put into bat again, and it's not beyond the realms of possibility. Misses it the 3rd time, Selby will be enough in front, and once again it's squared up off that 3rd cushion.
Foul, and a miss.
So if he misses it next
Mark
time,
Selby, 4.
he'll need snookers.
Can he make the adjustment?
Okay.
Let's have a look. Somewhere there with a little bit more side would get him there. He's done the same again, I think. If it runs on, oh, it's going to be the black if it reaches. So as you said, Willie, and
Foul.
It's a free ball by the looks of it.
Mark Selby, 4.
Might even be a free ball, I'm not sure. Maybe not. Maybe you can hit the red that's closest to the corner pocket, but
Couldn't have the balls replaced, of course, because he now needs snookers, so he's took the option of putting Ronnie back into play from there. If he goes around the back of the brown, he could get him behind the yellow and green here. I'm surprised. Actually, he's hit that poorly. I'm surprised Mark put him back into bat there. If that had gone right, Dennis, it would have been a real tough one to hit. But as it happens, it should be safe now. And should Mark go on to win this frame, it would be 4-3, and of course he still hasn't made a break above 37. That's amazing.
Well, he hasn't won this frame yet because he could be snookered here. It's okay, but he wanted to get tight in behind the green and yellow. There's an easy escape route for Mark Selby here. although just looking at things, he's got to be careful that he doesn't leave Ronnie in amongst the reds, because if he can take 3 reds, 3 blacks, he's right back in this frame. He only needs 1 snooker. I mean, there's no way he's going to not escape from this. But he's just a bit concerned that he doesn't leave the chance for Ronnie to pot the 3 reds, 3 blacks. Doesn't necessarily have to get all blacks. You can take a pink with one of these reds, which is what he's played for.
1. Seven.
I have a funny feeling he tried
8.
to bring the black into play there. .48 behind. There's 43
30.
in the table. That means he now needs 2 snookers. That was why it was so important that he got the black into play when he tried to just flick it out.
40.
Just reckoning the score up, but he definitely needs 2 snookers. That's if he pots the pink. Frame's over if he misses this.
$20. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 20.
Yeah, as JV says, there's always a gap.
And because of that gap, Dennis, he can possibly get the white in behind green and yellow here. No, I couldn't see enough of it. Couldn't see the right-hand side. Ronnie obviously would be reluctant to pot the red, but it's not easy to get safe from there. He's 51 points behind. Sorry, 41 points behind, so 2 snookers needed, and he'd like to keep that red on. If the green was just a couple of inches behind the yellow, I suppose he'd risk getting, well, he's almost guaranteed to get 1 snooker. But he needs to get right up close. If he takes the red colour, he needs to get right up close to the yellow.
He's decided to do that. Doesn't matter if he takes the pink, you still only need 2 snookers, so important he gets the cue ball exactly where he wants it here.
Seven.
He can get the snooker, but he hasn't hit that. He's a little wry smile
Ronnie
as he walked
O'Sullivan,
away. He knew he'd miss it. But as Willie said, they weren't in a perfect position, the yellow and green as they were. Been a rather awkward frame, this. A lot of tactical play because of the way the balls were. Ronnie's just having a think, but you'd expect him to concede. And he does. And Mark Selby, his highest break is still only 37, but he's playing some very good match. Snooker out there, he's just one behind, 4-3 to Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Final frame of this session, Mark Selby to break.
I couldn't agree with Stephen more. That's the way Ronnie likes to play. But, you know, you've got to give credit, as Dennis mentioned at the close with that last frame. To win 3 frames with a high break of 37 just shows what a great match player Mark Selby is. Now, we obviously know he's got a chance to level at 4-4. Can you imagine that? O'Sullivan's dominated the session and Selby could come out 4-4. It might happen.
Can just get to the potting angle of this one. That with quite a bit of right-hand side and probably caused him to miss the pot, but he had to make sure he got round the back of the black and reds.
They're the ones he was potting virtually every time last night. We know that the red above the black pots. This was a good pot. (9'3" total length of that pot, and right into the heart of the pocket. How is he going to find a gap? If he finds the gap, it's too hard. Too hard. End of break.
I think he thought he might just cannon that red there, the way he was looking. And he would have been on that red that you mentioned to the right of the black. But it just slipped past the red that he was hoping to cannon.
Mark Selby 6.
Because that angle that he did take, if he plays it with more pace, he can come off the cushion and out onto that. But he must have just slightly misjudged the cannon there, or the angle it took.
But once again, a very poor safety from Mark. He hasn't got anywhere near the baulk cushion. He found the baulk cushion every shot, as did Neil Robertson yesterday. All of a sudden, Ronnie's now gone to sleep a little. Concerned about pushing a red over. As you can see, they're just seeing what happens. Steve was talking about the way Ronnie plays thick safety shots. You know, Ronnie would probably be trying to play the red at the top of the pack to make sure he brings a few reds out. Mark's taking the thin one on, which of course hardly moves anything into play. And once again, is it called a baulk colour? This is very unlike Selby. It really is. I mean, he's done so well to win 3 frames the way he's played.
Well, he's looking at a shot. If he takes this on, there is a pot, but there's such a small gap to go through. But I think he'll settle for the safety. But sometimes when he gets in a mood, he is looking at it now. You watch. Oh no, he's playing a thin safety, I think, surely. Yeah. But he did look at a very, very difficult shot. And I think that's a better choice. It's just his focus throughout this year's World Championship, Ronnie. I can't remember him once playing the wrong shot. You know, a few seasons ago, if he got a bad kiss or a nudge, he'd have a go at something that he shouldn't have really taken on. Hasn't done that. He's played all the correct shots. And that's why he's here, going for his hat-trick of world titles. That's not the best. Much too thick on that one. It might be another awkward frame. Look at the black with those 4 reds there. If he takes this up into the corner, this will be a test of his cueing, because it looks to be just off straight. Yep, need to push that cue through in a fairly straight line. No. Maybe somebody upstairs in the Champions Lounge watching that shot. If that red had went across the cushion and in, that's how the first maximum break was ever made at the Crucible Theatre. Cliff Thorburn potted one like that across the cushion and created history after that.
12. Mark Selby 4.
Maybe just lost a little bit of focus just at the moment. This is the last frame of this session, and as we said earlier, if Mark Selby gets out of this 4-all, he'll be absolutely over the moon.
Yes, and if he can pot this, he'll play into the bunch of reds. So, okay, there's no need to bring reds into play, but he want, you know, just play it firm, bring all those reds into play. The black's had a commission. There's every chance he's going to finish on the pink or a bought colour. If he tries to start playing with side to get a gap, it makes the pot harder. Plain ball, he goes straight into that bunch. That's what he's done, and he's unlucky. It was worth the risk. It really was worth the risk, and he knows it.
1.
But now, Dennis, how does he get safe?
Well, I think he's going to have to just play. Well, the red's gone up the other end of the table, as we show you this here. I mean, if he hits that half ball, he's going to head back up the table. And the worst possible outcome, because just to land on a colour with the red up the other end of the table makes it difficult. And if he played to just land on the blue, he'd leave a pot to the right corner pocket. He could maybe run to the black, but he would need a lot of help to reach it, to bridge over those 4 reds. That's what he's thinking about now. And if he tries to come off the side cushion and hit the yellow, he's got the red up the other end of the table that he can leave. So what a situation that Mark Selby is faced with here. Well, if anyone can find his way out of a situation like this, you'd have to say it's Mark Selby, but how's he going to do it? I mean, if he could land full ball on the green, it would be safe, but
Green ball.
he's going to try that. He's going to have to play this with lots of side and hopefully just land full ball on the green. If he slips past it, he leaves the red. Well, it's a great attempt. It's a great attempt. He still left a possible pot, though. He was trying to get it right on top of the green there. Full ball. This red wouldn't have been available for Ronnie.
Well, same scenario, isn't it? Mark had no option but to play into the bunch of reds below the pink. Ronnie, if he takes this on, has got no option to play into the 3 reds near the black. And these testing moments, Ronnie's not been cueing well these last couple of frames. But well done. Has he got a bit of good fortune? Not this time.
1.
I think he can cue at the yellow here. The red won't be in his way. So this is just as difficult as the red he's just knocked in. The red's just a slight distraction there. Where's he going to finish here?
Ronnie O'Sullivan 1.
At first glance, it's not that bad. The red to the right of the black cuts in. The one near the left corner is difficult with the rest. So he had a bit of a result there, had Ronnie.
This is the result that Dennis was talking about. Once you miss the yellow, you're entitled to leave a red on. But Ronnie's just got into his shot at the moment, struggling. Well, I can only presume that Mark Selby can stun this in and probably finish on the pink in the middle, but this is a tough pot. The one next to the black that Dennis talked about, the cut, looks as easy as this one. Where's the red going this time? He's had one go at one of these.
Yeah.
Well, he's left it right over the hole. Probably felt the only red he could leave on was the one he was going for, and what's happened? He's left it.
Not a straightforward positional shot, as we show you that red almost went into the pocket. He attempted it. But to get away from that angle with the cue ball, he's got to get plenty of action on this. And he's got plenty of action on it, I can tell you. To get that wide up into that position from there was excellent. You could see from that side-on shot, the pause and then delivering the cue. I mean, there's not a great deal of players that can create that amount of cue power to play that shot.
Six.
Yes, in a few shots' time, should Ronnie continue the break here, the black will be in play because the red to the right of the black will pot. So concentrate on pink and blue for a few shots.
Seven.
He's going through a spell at the minute where he's not got complete control of the cue ball. Wow, that's the total points on the tournament of these two players all the way to the final. Can you believe that? 5-6-7-4, 5-6-7-4. Unbelievable. Just using the reds to try and slow the cue ball down. He's done that, but he's faced with a tricky one. Still pots though.
12.
Oh, that's good from that position.
13.
Awkward cueing, and to judge that cutback, he's given himself a great chance now. Over 2 days, 4 sessions. You set yourself targets. You want to win the little mini sessions 3-1, and if you can win the
17.
session 5-3, you'll be quite happy. Anything more is a bit of a bonus. The chances
18.
there for Ronnie to get out of this with a 5-3 advantage. Not a straightforward run to the winning line in this
24.
frame. That little triangle of reds, well, one of them at the back will be available eventually. Nice little cannon here when potting the pink. We'll develop both these reds. And you've got a perfect picture there of the little screw shot just flicking the other red out of the way.
$31. $32.
Well, there's a 10% difference in the pot success rate, and that's purely because Mark's not been scoring heavily at all when he gets in the balls. And if you'd have told Mark Selby you're going to play 8 frames against O'Sullivan this afternoon, after 8 frames you've only made 1 break over 30, what scoreline would you be pleased
38.
with? Would it have said I'd be pleased to win a frame? Well, that's not the scenario, because he could actually win all 4.
Ronnie O'Sullivan.
He could win 4 frames. Can you believe that? I was just going to say it'd be bite your hand off to win 3 out of the session. A chance to get right back at level at 4-4 going into tonight's session.
I don't think anyone seen that coming.
One.
He's got an angle on the pink here. He can play for the red I mentioned, the one at the back. And here's the black. Or he could try and... Well, he's finished on that one. In fact, it's flicked the black out.
7.
He could finish on the black here, possibly. So all
8.
of a sudden, the roles are reversed here.
$15. $16.
Well, Ronnie O'Sullivan can just sit and, well, he's hoping that something can go wrong, but he looks fully focused here, Mark Selby. He didn't expect this chance, and he's going to grab it here.
23.
No problem getting on that
24.
red. That's to the right of the cue ball. And no problem with the one up by the yellow.
Yeah, I suppose he'd like to leave an angle on this red to screw up for the blue or bought colour off this last red. And he's got that.
31.
Decision time. Do I roll it in and leave a half ball black and have to play a risky positional shot, or do I screw up for the pink or blue?
$32.
Has he got the correct angle to screw back? He's got to miss the middle pocket with lots of reverse side. Yeah, you can see where he's hitting the side. Now watch the white when it hits the cushion below the pocket. Oh, this is a great shot. Needs to pull up. He's maybe hit it too well. He has hit it too well. That's amazing.
38.
Amazing. So another twist to this final frame.
I'm surprised he could pop the pink and hit the cushion where he did. If we get a chance to show you the pink again, just look at the angle on the pink here. I mean, it looked like he could only possibly get 2 inches past the jaws of the middle pocket, and he actually developed an angle to get virtually 1.5 foot past the middle pocket. Amazing.
Yeah, he just got too much reverse side onto that. What a shot he's faced with here. Yeah, see, I think it's with these very lively cloths you can make that sort of angle. That's all he could do with this one.
Mark Selby, 38.
Well, he needs another chance. But that was his highest break of the match so far, and it's only 38. And could he get out of this session 4-4?
pushed that red on, left a straight pot for the middle. Has the length with this. Looks pretty good. There's always room around the back of that.
Mark Selby foot.
Mark will have this replaced.
Okay, put the green, please.
I think the green was on its spot, I think. Might have been just off the spot, but yeah, just below the spot there. Looks pretty good. Yeah, that's about spot on, Brendan.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. As I say, that red's far enough away from the cushion
Mark.
to make this not a straightforward escape. Well, you'll settle for the outcome. You never really know where they're going to go, but that'll do nicely. Thank you very much.
If the white had been 6 inches further to left, it's an easy safety shot, but where it is now, it's a very difficult safety shot because the double kiss is on. What way would you play this then? Would you try and just hit it thick and try and leave the white at this end?
Well, if he plays the thin one, he can send it across and back over behind the black, but he'd have to be so accurate with that because he could cannon into the pink as he's pointing there. I think the red's just slightly off the cushion, so he'll have to be absolutely spot on with this. Oh, he's got the double kiss. Where's the red? Where is the red going? Well, absolutely amazing. What a
Quiet,
fluke.
please.
Well, you could hear the cheers from the Selby supporters. You can hear the groans and moans from the O'Sullivan supporters. No, I don't believe it. I don't believe that.
Mark Selby won.
It's amazing. The tension of a final frame of a session. Amazing. Mark maybe should have just given himself a few more seconds there.
Well, this black is a shot that, well, if he'd have been playing really great and that would cost him, you know, the frame, he would have been even more distraught. But the fact that he's gone out of this session,
5.
if Ronnie clears by only losing 5 frames,
9.
it's hard to kind of put it in perspective. You know, there's just miss an easy ball to probably level at 4-4, but having only 1-2 breaks over 30, he's got to be pleased with 5-3.
14.
Well, luckily the black's where it is because Ronnie's got the right angle on the pink, so there's no problem at all with this. Ronnie O'Sullivan started brilliantly. He breaks with 69, 102, 63 again later on. It looked like Ronnie could run away with the first session. He'd be pretty pleased now to have won the first session by 2 frames. Wasn't awe-inspiring in the second half. Ronnie O'Sullivan played well in the first half. Mark Selby got it back into the match, but he still trails at the end of the first session by 5 frames to 3.
Watch OSN Sports 2 live on your computer, laptop, tablet or mobile device.